Hey guys, I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to use the power grid. I know, forgive me. Boo, hiss, ah. I'm going to make a off-grid food dryer, which is completely going to be off-grid waste energy powered by putting it on top of the wood stove. And I'm going to use, though, my radial arm saw that I just acquired. I worked and gave my labor in exchange for this tool, which I needed. I felt that I needed anyway, and I'm going to use it right away because of its longer reach, and it does up to 16-inch boards. Makes it convenient to cut things like what I'm going to do here. First of all, I'm going to have to cut this board into half, and then I'm going to cut notches to slide my food dryer racks into here. And I'm going to do everything on this radial arm saw. The beauty of this is I can lower the blade down and cut to a certain depth, and they'll all be uniform. And I'm just going to cut across, making the grooves to slide the trays in for the dryer. Pretty cool. So stay tuned. I'm going to set this up on the tripod and we'll get to work. So what I'm doing right now, I've already marked. I didn't know what I was doing at first, so I went ahead first and measured this out and realized I only need it 24 inches high, so I realized I can get 2 pieces out of this board. Now this was a piece of scrap wood that I had run through the planer last year or something, and ended up not using it for the project I wanted it for. It's perfect for this. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to mark this out every 1.5 inches. The thickness of the tray is just under a 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch, sorry. So the thickness of the tray is just under 1/2 inch. So I figure if I give myself 1/2 inch slots in the wood, I will happily be able to slide the trays in and out of those slots. Now, this board is 10 inches. I couldn't find a 16-incher, and I really want to get this done because our apples are ready, and I want to get this project going. So what I'm going to do is just I'll slide the trays in past the edge, 2.5 inches on either side. Don't think it'll hurt a thing. The framing of the board, awkward. I'm trying to do this on camera. It was awkward angle because of the fact that it's raining outside and the garage door is not offering enough protection. It's raining in at an angle. Okay, there's that. Now the framing will go down here and up here a piece. I've set it up with enough distance to put a piece of frame up here, 1 or 2 down here. That'll hold it together. I'm going to put 2 screws per section, and then the dryer racks here should be good. So I'm going to set this up and make my first cut. The radial arm saw. Let me squeeze by here. It's awkward only right now because it is raining. And my garage is not the optimum place for a wood shop. It is what it is, and this is where this tool is until I get to, well, I figure out where it's going to live. Maybe it'll live in the garage. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to set up the saw for the cut. First, what I got to do, I'm going to lower it down to just below that lip. Is there a clamp? Yes, that locks. Lower that down so it makes a cut all the way through the wood. So if I'm a little bit awkward because I just got the saw, this is going to be my first cut with this new saw. Now I'll lock the arm in place. I know you can't see everything I'm doing. Is that lock? That's locked. Okay, get my hearing protection on. Move the camera back. This will be my first cut ever with this saw. I've never made a cut with this. So, it's also on wobbly ground. Make sure I got my mark at 24 inches. Depending on if that edge is straight. I don't know if that edge is straight. I gotta come to the side of that a bit. My measurement is off. got 2 tape measures here. Okay. Power. Okay, now I've lowered the blade to cut just a little bit into the wood. I'm going to make my first experimental cut to check the depth of it. Line this up and make my first cut. Now what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to make multiple passes of the blade through the wood to get the width that I want. So it'll take a couple passes. I don't have the I think it's called a dado blade to make a wider cut. So I'm just going to make multiple passes along each line to get my width. It'll take a few, like I said, it'll be a few passes. Now, I don't know what's going on. I think my blade is old. I did just get this as is. I'll have to check and see if I get a blade that fits it. It's probably worn, but it is a little bit of binding when I get halfway through, so I have to take it slow. But it is, you know, it is an old saw. Now I want to check the depth of that. It looks perfect. It's beautiful. I can't tell what you can see. I think that's fine. It's deep enough. It is a very narrow blade, so it's going to take a few passes. Now what I could do, I think what I will do is measure a 1/2 inch. And then I could actually even chisel it out if I want, if I don't like the idea of cutting it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this off with a 1/2 inch width on each one of these lines. Okay guys, there's one side. Maybe one day I'll give it a sanding, but it's not really necessary. It's just going to be a food drying rack. So now my shelves can slide in here. I'm going to take this inside and check it with a shelf to make sure that it doesn't bind. And if so, we'll do another side just like it. Okay guys, I'm out here experimenting and checking out sizes. I just set in 1 screw each. I pre-drilled it so I wouldn't crack the wood. And I don't have a square, proper, perfect workspace here, so I only put 1 screw each so I can stand it up and then readjust and then refasten it straight once I get a top board on. I erred in my my measurements when I did this, and you'll see I did not leave the space. I measured up to this, but I didn't leave the space, where am I here, for the top tray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could always cut another one lower at a later time, or I can just adjust this. What I'm thinking about for the front and the back ones is to go on the inside, cut them short to fit on the inside here, and for the top here, and that'll stop warping. So I'll have these here like this, and these will be inside, and it might help stop warping with time. And I want to eventually put a cross piece in the middle as well, down here, and prevent the boards from bowing this way. So that's a plan I've got. So I'm gonna figure a way to square this up nicely, and then put the other 2 screws in. I'll probably, I don't know, I've got to figure a way to square it up. So it's awkward because if everything's wet out everywhere, and I'm working here. But anyway, I'll get this squared up and I'll put these next 2 screws in, and then I'll flip it over and get the other piece on, and then I'm going to cut this to fit in here and then mount them inside. I think that's a good idea to help stop warping and protect this, strengthen up better. Okay, what I did is I stood it up and then used a piece to measure and straighten out the top, which I'm going to do actually here too. Lined it up because these are all the same size, and then I know it's coming together pretty straight. So I'm pre-drilling. And then I'm putting in, I have deck screws. I need wood screws for this project to be better, because then I can screw them down flush. So I'm just not sinking them in deeply, so I don't split the wood. Okay, now I can do the next 2. We're pretty straight on here. Make sure that's still straight, and I can do the next 2. And then I'll cut those for the inside on the top, give a little bit of strength from bowing. Okay. Now, there's our tray so far, from what you can see of it. Alright, anyway. Now, I've got to measure the inside and cut it. So I'm going to do that off camera, just because I don't have room to work and show you, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm going to pre-drill a couple holes up in here for each side. It's got to be narrower here and more precise. glad you can see. Now I'm going to finish all the screws. Well guys, there it is, all put together. Sand it down. Not perfect, it's not, doesn't have to be beautiful. It's not going to be finished either, because it'll probably have food slopped on it from time to time, but it's roughly rounded everywhere, and I sand it inside and out roughly. I put in an extra tray in the middle, or extra support in the middle, so this will stop it from bowing up here. This should help it from bowing in the middle, and then the cross bracing here should be good. This is obviously the back. I didn't sand this side. Alright, let me see if I can do this holding the camera. Let's slide a tray in backwards, upside down, and wrong-handed for me, and there it is. Now as you can see, there's some overhang, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything. I'm not going to have 5 pounds of weight on the ends of these, but it does slide in nice and neatly. It is smoother than it looks. I'm left-handed, using my right hand to demonstrate, but it works. Yeah, again, it's smoother than it looks. I'm just backwards. There we have it, guys. Room for 9 trays, all the drying trays that I have, and there we have a homemade, very simple homemade food dehydrator that's going to use the heat of the wood stove. Now in the summer I'll probably adapt this to be using solar power, so you'll be seeing this coming up again in about 6 months. Alright guys, there you go. Stay tuned, because you'll see this in use pretty soon here when we start processing apples. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Another project is completed. Please like, subscribe, and share, and follow our daily videos as we strive to become fully self-sufficient and off the grid on a budget. Drying our own foods is part of self-sufficiency.